Hello, this is WD,
FM, the official Walt Disney Family Museum podcast. We're your hosts, Bri Berlucini, Marketing Manager.
and Chris Mullen, Marketing Coordinator at the Walt Disney Family Museum.
Welcome back to our monthly Museum Musings episode, where we keep you updated on upcoming museum happenings. So make sure you subscribe to our podcast so you never miss an episode. Each podcast episode is also available as a video podcast with closed captionings available in every episode. So visit our YouTube channel at WD-FM Museum or read the show notes from today's podcast posted to our blog for more information. So stay tuned at the end of this episode for a special interview with our Director of Exhibitions and Collections, Marina Villar Delgado, where she's going to be talking about our current virtual exhibition, Conserving the Magic of Our Planet, a virtual community art exhibition. You'll want to listen to that. It's a really good interview.
But before we get to what's virtual, our biggest news of the past month is what's in person. The Walt Disney Family Museum's main galleries are now open. Experience Walt Disney's inspiring life story, showcased through our state-of-the-art galleries, which house hundreds of memorable artifacts, original artworks, and a spectacular miniature model of Disneyland. We are grateful to you for your support during our recent closure and are excited to see you back at the museum again soon. Here's how it works. Pre-purchased timed tickets are required for entry. During the first few months of reopening, tickets will be released in 2-week increments. To purchase tickets for the next 2 weeks, please visit our tickets page. Members can reserve free tickets for the next 2 weeks via our members-only ticket reservation page.
Also on view is the Walt Disney Studios in World War II, which is an immersive exhibition featuring the compelling and multifaceted story of the Walt Disney Studios' contributions to the Allies' World War II effort. The exhibition features an array of original artwork, film clips, photos, literature, and more to explore. Available now is a companion booklet for the exhibition. It's available in the museum store to purchase or through our web store at waltdisney.org/store. If you aren't able to see this exhibition in person, the booklet is a really great way to see some of the highlights, read the text that's also in the exhibition, as well as see some of the spectacular artifacts on view.
The museum store is also a great place to get exclusive exhibition merchandise, like that snazzy bomber jacket that I will not stop bringing up.
Have you gotten it yet?
No, I haven't. I keep putting it off. I hope that when I go into the museum next, maybe that'll be when I do that.
I mean, wintertime is coming up for San Francisco. I know it's about to be, it's May, but that is peak fog season for San Francisco. So you'll need the bomber jacket for sure.
Right. Don't forget that famous quote that was actually not said by Mark Twain, that the coldest winter I ever spent was a summer in San Francisco. Not said by him, but very true. Well, for those visiting the museum in the coldest summer coming up, our 5th community access exhibition, Veterans Voices Painted Realities, is on view, featuring original artworks by U.S. military veterans. The exhibition serves as a platform for the American veterans' voice to be heard through their own words and creativity, rather than from depictions by non-veteran artists. Stay tuned for an upcoming podcast episode at the end of the month to learn more about this important and insightful exhibition.
Now for an update on upcoming programs. On May 15th, join screenwriter Rita Sao as she shares behind-the-scenes stories from the Walt Disney feature animation Mulan, the 1998 original version, and Disney Pixar's Toy Story 2. This Happily Ever After Hours program is free to attend. Registration is required.
Count me in for that. That sounds like it'll be informative and a lot of fun, not to mention a couple of great films there that we both really appreciate. More programs like those will be announced soon, so be sure to subscribe to our email newsletter for the latest updates. Now, let's kick off our Disney date roundup for the month. Happy birthday to Margaret Carey, who turns 92 on May 11th. Margaret Carey served as the live-action reference model for Tinkerbell, everyone's favorite pixie from Peter Pan. On May 18th, celebrate your favorite Walt Disney Family Museum, that's us, on International Museum Day. Share your favorite museum memories and artifacts, and tag us at WDF Museum on any social media channel. Continuing to look on the bright side, Pollyanna debuted on May 19th, 1960. Disney legend Haley Mills had a lot to be glad about. She became the final recipient of the Academy Juvenile Award for her breakout performance, kicking off a summer magical film and stage career.
I don't think that could have gotten any punnier, Chris.
Can you tell that I wrote some of that? I had a lot of fun doing it.
Yep. Reeks of Chris Mullen for sure. Well, May 25th marks Goofy's first appearance. So, Garsh. Nope. I just can't do it. I can't do it. I wrote it.
I was so excited to hear you give your best Goofy Garsh.
Can you do it? Try doing it.
Oh, Garsh.
There we go. That's perfect.
Not my best. Not my best. I really hope Bill Farmer isn't watching.
Yeah, I know. I really wanted to pull one of those out for his past Happily Ever Afters we had with Bill Farmer, it's such a fun time. If you remember, please check out that episode of Happily Ever After Hours. It was really a hoot, but I kept wanting to make some doggone puns in there, but I just couldn't. I didn't have it in me.
Well, I'm glad you saved them all for right now.
May 25th marks Goofy's first appearance in Mickey's Review. That was 89 years ago, so almost to the 90 mark. Watch out next year. I'm sure it's going to be a real Goofy year. And then on Disney's first popular song, Who's Afraid of the Big Bad Wolf, huffed and puffed its way into people's hearts thanks to the theatrical release of Three Little Pigs. That was on May 27th, 1933. And on May 28th, to round out the end of the month, take a virtual sail around the world to celebrate It's a Small World on the anniversary of its opening at Disneyland. This attraction is one of my favorites. I know it's a contentious attraction. It has the earworm song of It's a Small World, but I really love this fun fact that the opening ceremony included the pouring of water gathered from all around the world into the attraction's 7 seaways canal. I just love that kind of coming together in unity during a time when in 1960, 66?
1960, yeah, that was when it opened at Disneyland because it was at the 64-65 New York World's Fair.
Yeah, I just that time was a little tumultuous in the world, and to kind of have that unity of the world come together just through the combination of all the different waters into the attraction is just a beautiful symbol, and I just love the message of It's a Small World. Just how we're all different, but we all can come together and celebrate what makes us different, but also what makes us the same. So celebrate It's a Small World, May 28th.
That's May 28th, 1966. Just checked.
I was right.
Yes. Well, It's a Small World. I feel like my feelings on It's a Small World have come around full circle. I feel like it was very popular to not like It's a Small World when I was growing up. And then I started going as an adult and realized just how much fun it is. And the music of It's a Small World. Obviously, the song a lot of people have mixed feelings about because it gets stuck in their head, but it always makes me happy whenever I hear it because I know that the attraction is just around the corner. So I'm definitely glad for the role that It's a Small World plays in any of my Disney trips. On a more somber note, May is Mental Health Awareness Month. With how tough the past year was for everyone, we wanted to share a little bit of Walt Disney's own journey with his mental health. In 1931, Walt's almost total immersion into his work contributed to what was considered back then a nervous breakdown. An excerpt from Bob Thomas's book, Walt Disney, an American Original, states, quote, "He became more irritable with his employees, snapping at them for minor offenses. A sudden disappointment could plunge him into a crying spell. He spent sleepless hours in bed at night, staring at the ceiling as he reviewed the day's events and planned the future. He consulted a doctor who advised him to leave the studio and seek a complete rest." End quote. Walt and Lillian took this advice and booked their first non-business trip since their honeymoon 5 years earlier. When Walt returned to work, he remembered his doctor's advice and varied his studio routine with exercise. He went to the Hollywood Athletic Club a couple times a week for boxing, calisthenics, and swimming. He took up golf, where he would head to the Griffith Park course near his Los Feliz home and played 9 holes before heading to work. Quite the morning. He would often leave work early so he and Lillian could go horseback riding in the hills behind their home. He found solace in building model trains and miniatures, which famously evolved into the assembly of his own backyard miniature railroad. From that came one of many inspiration points for Disneyland Park, and the rest, as they say, is history. So I guess you can say that while Walt worked incredibly hard throughout the rest of his life, he made time for his mental health, his hobbies, and his family, and sought a healthier work-life balance wherever he could. An inspiration to us all.
Yeah, I really love hearing about, Walt never shied away from telling this particular story about his own mental health. It's noted in our galleries. It's noted in probably, I think, close to all of the biographies about his life. And I think it's really important for people to know this about Walt, that he not only was a very successful person, but he went through his own trials and tribulations, and he sought help to change his lifestyle for the benefit of his own mental health and also the health of his family. I think it's a really interesting portion, can be often overlooked in our galleries. So I just want to highlight it's our Silly Symphonies gallery, and you'll see Walt's skis, which was an important part of kind of Walt's growth into becoming a more athletic person and taking up some hobbies. And he loved going skiing during the wintertime, especially at Sugar Bowl in Northern California. But we also have, so there's 2 screens, and one is just him and Lillian. And this was them before they had children of their own. And it is a story that is told in our galleries about how they struggled to start a family. They adopted their second daughter, Sharon. And so it was a big part of their own growth as a couple and in their own mental health to start getting into athletics and sports to become a little bit healthier as prescribed by their doctor. So you have that, and then next to it is the family videos and photos. So it's a really sweet area. It's one of my favorite parts of the museum is just going and seeking out those family videos that we have. They're so precious, of just seeing Walt at home and really, having the time of his life.
Yeah, and not all of his activities he kept forever. I mean, in the next gallery up from the gallery that you were mentioning, the Silly Symphony Gallery, the Snow White Gallery, we have a little bit dedicated to Walt picking up polo in the 30s. The studio polo team played internationally at one point. We mentioned that in our Mel Shaw exhibit. And of course, Walt had a big injury playing polo, so that wasn't something that he kept doing. But he just tried a lot of different things to let off steam. Some of those he kept forever, like miniatures. Some of them were a little more short lived, but they were all in service to finding different ways for Walt to spend his time.
Yeah, I highly recommend seeking out those more personal aspects of the museum galleries. And the next time you visit the museum in person, which we hope is very soon, we highly recommend building in some time to walk through the beautiful and scenic Presidio National Park, where the museum is located. It's such a spectacular place to visit, and that's, I think, what makes the museum so special, is that you're out a little bit out from the hubbub of the city, and you get a nice quiet area. You should visit the National Cemetery, and it's just up the road from us. It's just right behind our Diane Disney Miller Exhibition Hall. And besides its own merits as a beautiful location, if you walk to the top of the hill, you'll have the most serene view of the Golden Gate Bridge to meditate or just clear your head. Another trail that I really that I really enjoy is the Golden Gate Promenade, and that goes through Presidio's Crissy Field, an Army airfield that turned recreation paradise that leads to the Golden Gate Bridge. And it's a really beautiful, not a big tourist area. When I take friends to see the Golden Gate Bridge, I always take them on this route, and there's actually a pier right kind of below the Golden Gate Bridge, and it just has the best place to get a photo and nice to kind of sit on the rocks there and just look out into the ocean. And if you're there on a perfect day, it's a perfect place to see some whales during whale season. They pop up in that little area, so it's a really kind of special place to relax. The last trail I'll recommend is Lover's Lane Trail. Starts at the Presidio Gate, and it leads you directly to the Yoda Fountain at Lucasfilm headquarters. This is the oldest path in the Presidio, and it's marked by lots and lots of wildlife. It's a great change of pace for city life, as well as just a great way to explore the park.
Totally agree. There are just so many different trails and paths in the Presidio that lead you to all sorts of spectacular views. So definitely can't recommend enough just exploring the area the next time that you're in the Presidio. May is also Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, and we're celebrating by replaying past Happily Ever After Hours programs with Robert Kondo, co-founder of Tonko House, and Caitlin Yang, visual effects supervisor and founder of Alpha Studios. To catch these programs, visit our Facebook this month.
We also wanted to highlight some Asian American artists that worked at the Walt Disney Studios during Walt's lifetime. So we, of course, couldn't not mention Disney legend Tyrus Wong. Wong's Chinese influence paintings caught Walt Disney's eye and became the inspiration for the look and feel of the animated feature Bambi. He was overcoming adversity, poverty, and racial discrimination, and Tyrus really used his passion and interpretation of the bold art of the Sung Dynasty and his experience working as a Depression-era muralist, California watercolorist, and film production illustrator. And he became one of the bohemian artists whose creativity and drive really helped shape the cultural and artistic life in Los Angeles during the 1930s and 40s. And he also was a renowned kite maker, and I just really love his there's a documentary about his life, and his passion for kite making later in his life was spectacular.
Totally. Tyrus was such an inspiration, and really to capture everything that Tyrus saw during his life, it would have to be a pretty long documentary. Tyrus lived to be 106 years old. We're so honored that Tyrus not only visited the museum, but in 2013, we held a special exhibition featuring his work called Water to Paper, Paint to Sky, The Art of Tyrus Wong in our Diane Disney Miller exhibition hall. More of Tyrus's work can be seen virtually right this very minute, thanks to the Chinese Historical Society of Southern California, who invited curator Sonia Mack of Art Salon Chinatown to create an exhibition centered around his piece, Confucius as a Justice. This exquisite, never-before exhibited piece calls out Confucius, a seminal figure from Chinese antiquity whose philosophy was the progenitor of China's most enduring humanistic ideals and cultural values. This artwork also signifies a friendship between two 20th century pioneers in the Asian American community. Immigration lawyer Yu Chung Hong, who fought anti-Chinese legislation and played a central role in the creation of New Chinatown, and our own Tyrus Wong.
In our current special exhibition, the Walt Disney Studios in World War II, we highlight Japanese artists who worked at the Disney Studios and who were also interned. And it's a really important story that is highlighted, gives kind of a big picture view, not just the Walt Disney Studios at that time, but kind of what was happening in California, around the country. We want to highlight Robert, also known as Bob Kuwahara, and he was one of the first Japanese American artists hired at the studio, and he was interned at Heart Mountain, Wyoming. And during his internment, he hosted twice weekly art classes, and after the war, he went to work for Terry Toons, creating the cartoon character Hashimoto-san. Here is an excerpt of an interview we did with exhibition and collections assistant Caitlin Bickle on working with the Kuwahara family to contribute his story and to this exhibition. Here's Caitlin.
So we were putting together this section, and we came up with the idea of creating a wall mural of photos in that gallery that represent the people that are discussed in this section of the exhibit. And we didn't really have the best photos of Bob Kuwahara. They were to blow up on the wall. So we were searching. We found one on the Pacific Citizen Archives. They're an Asian Pacific American national newspaper, and they had a small photo of him that was printed in a newspaper, and they were really happy to lend it to us, let us use it. The only problem was the quality was just not the best. so we couldn't use that. So we were looking for other sources. We found a few other photos, again, maybe angle-wise or things like that, it wasn't necessarily what we were looking for. So actually, Bri, you had reached out to Heart Mountain Wyoming Foundation, Bob Kuwahara, yeah. And so he was interned at Heart Mountain, Wyoming.
It's been so long.
Yeah, this was a long time ago. You had reached out to their executive director. So yeah, he was interned at Heart Mountain Relocation Center in Wyoming. So you'd reached out to their director, and their director was really, really nice and gave us all this information and connected us with Bob's grandson and granddaughter, Jan and Beth, directly connected us. So then after that, I had conversation with Jan and Beth both. Jan, his grandson, he described himself as the keeper of the flame, which I thought was, it was great. He wants to keep the stories alive, and he was really happy to have his story included in the way it was. So they provided us with some photos at Heart Mountain Internment Relocation Center, and with a watercolor that he had done while teaching classes there, and also a really great photo of that watercolor as well. So we have that, and then we have that photo, and they were great to talk to, provided us with more information about his time at Heart Mountain and his career. So we really appreciated their help and support. And in general, we work with a lot of family members of artists who have worked at the studios that are really eager to help us out in any way that they can. The keepers of the flames, I guess you could say. So it is an honor to work with these families and to help share these stories and kind of keep them going.
Wow, that was so great to hear. Such an important story that we were able to find for this exhibition. The last artist we wanted to feature today is Iwa Takamoto. He was interned at Manzanar, located in Central California. After the war, he went to work at the Disney Studios and worked closely with Disney legends Milt Kahl and Mark Davis. During his time at the studios, he worked as an animator on Cinderella, Lady and the Tramp, and Sleeping Beauty. He would go on to direct the animated film Charlotte's Web, alongside Charles August Nichols, another Disney veteran, and created a little cartoon series for television you might have seen known as Scooby-Doo, Where Are You?
One of my favorite shows.
Yeah, speaking of theme songs that you can't get out of your head, from It's a Small World earlier to Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? I feel like I hear that in my head at least once a week. And these artists, of course, experienced racism during their life that informed and influenced their art. Unfortunately, racism against Asian Americans is all too prevalent today. We support unequivocally the Asian American community, and this month, with Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, we are highlighting their voices and stories.
Now let's welcome our Director of Exhibitions and Collections, Marina Villar Delgado, to the show. Now we are happy to have Marina Villar Delgado, the Director of Exhibitions and Collections at the Walt Disney Family Museum, join us on our podcast. Welcome, Marina.
Thank you for having me. Thank you, Chris and Bri.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, we're so excited to talk with you today and kind of get into a little bit more about your role at the museum and kind of what you do. You've been doing so much. So kind of to start at the very, very beginning, what does your role as Director of Exhibitions and Collections kind of entail?
Provide ideas and advice to the board of directors about new exhibitions, gallery rotations, updates, contact potential lenders, and find art for the museum exhibitions, give curatorial support to the guest curators that normally we have for the special exhibitions, develop and maintain the exhibition schedules and budgets, hire and supervise vendors, oversight the gallery installations and the installations, oversight the operations and activities for the exhibitions and collections team projects, meaning coordinating registrars, conservators, preparators, also coordinate activities and logistics with the museum teams to bring to life projects and exhibitions, and a few things more probably.
Well, that's a lot that you've got going on. And it seems like if anything is going up in the museum, anything's being exhibited, anything's being displayed anywhere in the galleries, that you have some hand in it. So I guess to take it all the way back, what was the very first exhibition that you worked on at the Walt Disney Family Museum?
I was hired in December 2012 to design water to paper, paint to sky, the art of Tyrus Wong. That was a beautiful and remarkable exhibition curated by Michael Labrie. And I was delighted to know Tyrus Wong, 103 years old artist with an intact vitality and energy. He was the creator of the amazing backgrounds, the Bambi movie. He revolutionized the style and technique at that time. And well, we can go on and on talking about Tyrus Wong. Is an amazing artist that probably you will illustrate much better than me this. So I will pass the ball to you.
Yeah, well, you were able to, illustrate his work, put it and beautifully displayed in the Diane Disney Miller exhibition hall. And it was such a beautiful exhibition with all the kites hanging from the ceiling. I've seen a lot of photos. I unfortunately never got to visit that exhibition, but kind of looking back, that was one of the early exhibitions that the museum did, the special exhibitions. And now looking forward, we've done almost, what is it, like over 20 exhibitions, something like that.
Honestly, I haven't counted, but a
Yeah.
bunch of them.
It's been a lot. And kind of with all the installations, rotations, and exhibitions you've worked on at the museum, which one stands out as kind of like the most memorable or most like inspiring experience that you had?
Memorable, I will say, when I met Ron Miller, he said to me, I hear you are from Barcelona. Do you know Dali? And I say, of course I know Dali. Then Ron says to me, good, we need to do an exhibition. And I say, sure. Probably it was my second or third week working at the museum. So I was a little, it's
No
like,
pressure.
whatever. So on one of my trips to Barcelona, I went to the Figueras. I went to Figueras to meet the foundation's director, and we made it happen. We in 2015 we exhibit, among others, 14 original drawings loaned from the Gala Salvador Dali Foundation, and it was the Disney and Dali architects of the imagination. The curator was Ted Nicolau, and for me, it's one of the most memorable because the way it started, it was so spontaneous, and I was very, very surprised to meet Ron in person that way. So, yeah, probably that's the most memorable one.
That's so kind that right as you were beginning, Ron kind of took you in and said, "This is what we're going to do, and this is how you're going to help us put on this exhibition." And then that was just the beginning of years of putting on great exhibitions and gallery rotations. Kind of fast forwarding to today, your team not only physically installed the Walt Disney Studios in World War II special exhibition in the Diane Disney Miller Exhibition Hall, where the Dali exhibition was, but also installed, in a sense, three different virtual exhibitions, concluding with what we just opened up, Conserving the Magic of Our Planet on Earth Day. What were the unique challenges and opportunities presented by putting on virtual exhibitions that are different than putting on physical exhibitions?
The process of creating a virtual exhibition is not so different from a real one, with changes on some of the players, let's put it this way. In a real exhibition, conservators, registrars, preparators, carpenters, painters, electricians, janitors, guest services, facilities, all these teams are out of the game. on the virtual format. Instead that, we have a different team, which is the 3D team, including designers, software engineers, that builds the illusion of an exhibition. Marketing, curatorial, those teams are still on the process of the creating the exhibition. But the people that works with the physical objects, those are, out of the game, like I say. Um, One of the opportunities that a virtual exhibition give us is the possibility to build environments that in the real life will be quite difficult or expensive. For example, in the one you mentioned, it, Conserving the Magic of Our Planet, we pave the gallery with a Roman causeway. In the real life, that will be quite expensive, and probably the conservation team won't be happy at all, because the dust and all these things. So we in the virtual we put things that in the real life impossible, because insects or other stuff.
And the virtual exhibitions were kind of a great partnership. Your partner, Carlos, was working together. You guys got a chance to kind of work together. Can you kind of talk about that experience?
No, we don't work together. I mean, we do completely different things. I need to say that he's my personal and private IT. So I deal, as you know, I normally work. The layouts I present are 3D. So it's a I mean, those softwares are quite complex, and sometimes I am a user. I mean, I don't know how to fix things that gets broken, or So then is when I call Carlos, and then he comes and the computer gets fixed instantly. It's like a so it's been very interesting working in these virtual exhibitions. I don't think it's a good idea to keep working together. Because the no no that is not true. I need to clarify this. We both, all of us, actually, we both, and the rest of the team, we work under a lot of pressure, and we did a lot of work during the last year, and this one, and everyone is super busy and tired, and we need to get out, enjoy the sun, and be happy for at least a weekend, and we didn't have the chance to do that so far, so I keep telling him, okay, enough, no more virtual exhibitions, no more volunteering to the museum. Thank you very much, but enough, because I need my weekends. But it's been a good experience. I mean, we know each other for many years, and we know, everyone's boundaries on the professional field. But I have to say, it will be impossible to do all this virtual experience regarding the exhibitions, talking, without his help. I mean, impossible.
It really comes across when you walk through the virtual exhibition. You can just see how much of a labor of love it was from all sides. And then, of course, you not only put the artwork up, but you were able to go through it all and get kind of a sense of what all of these folks were saying about conservation, about the environment, about our planet. So, taking in all of these messages from artists from around the world, what were some common themes and messages that you saw from the submitted artworks?
Obviously, the most prevalent theme is nature itself, often represented by animals, forests, oceans. Uh, a common thing through is the concern for its conservation and the need to take action on the planet and all this climate change. Another, I will say, message through the whole gallery and involving all the edges is we can make this together. Together is a word that keeps repeating through the whole exhibition. Some messages are talking about the power of the flowers, the trees, the oceans, the importance of recycling, the magic of the unknown, the impact of our civilization on the planet, and how the new generations are committed to fight for a better world. So I think it's a beautiful representation of all the concerns and hopes.
Yeah, it's definitely a very inspiring exhibition, as have all of our previous virtual exhibitions, World of Tomorrow and It's a Small World, just kind of how the communities come together and in these kind of shared ideas about our topics have been represented. So it's been this one in particular. I really, really love the artists that really use their message through their artwork to put on display. So it's been really great.
It's one of the best ones. I think the implication, the message that the people wants to transmit is very clear. And we can talk about the quality of the art. We can talk about everything is amazing. Is one of the best exhibitions.
Yeah, we hope that everyone gets a chance to experience our virtual exhibition, Conserving the Magic of Our Planet, which is available on our website at waltdisney.org/earth-day. And Marina, as our last question to kind of wrap this up, this has been so fun to chat with you. We like to ask all of our employees we have on the show this question. And since you probably have, you actually work with rotations, things in the galleries, and in our collection, what is your favorite artifact, either on display or in our collection in the museum?
It's hard to say. I'm gonna tell you two. Okay. One is the multiplane camera. I think is a very incredible artifact. Uh, the meaning and it's a remarkable invention. So I love the multiplane camera. Also because the size is that kind of big artifact. But on the other side, I love miniatures. I always is my passion, miniatures. So I love Gallery 7B, and I haven't decided yet which one I like it, because the more I dig into the collection and the more I find other miniatures that I never saw before, I love all of them. So I am between those two big.
The biggest the biggest on display and the smallest on display. I love it.
Score another one for the multiplane.
I know the multiplane is a staff favorite, but like the miniatures, I'm obsessed with the Oscar bracelet. I think that one's such it's just an interesting one that like I've never really heard of. Something that you see such an iconic statuette in little size, and all of the little mini portraits that Walt has of himself and his parents. How adorable!
Beautiful, beautiful. So yeah, and we are gonna be loaning some miniatures soon. That must be another podcast, maybe.
Oh yeah, that'll be really exciting when we can give more information on that. Or where's the loan going to?
The miniatures is going to the Met at New York. It's gonna be on exhibit December, I think the 6th or around that, beginning of December. And then it's going to the Wallace Gallery at London. And then maybe, we don't know yet, maybe then it goes to Paris. And then there is another place that is in the air. But yeah, it seems that it's gonna be for a few years on the road.
That's going to be really exciting. And it is I will say, it is one of my favorite scenes. So I'm glad that more people around the world will get the opportunity to see with the bedspread that was once Diane's, doll clothes. I just love that kind of, that image in my mind of Walt, like stealing away one of Diane's doll clothes to, feed into his hobby of miniatures.
Well, and it's also fulfilling this kind of arc that was unrealized during Walt's time, that he conceived of this traveling miniature diorama called Disneylandia, and he priced it out and it wasn't going to work. And then, of course, we get the name Disneyland from Disneylandia, but it's just so appropriate that a collection of Walt's miniatures are now going to be traveling the world, sharing their stories, just like Walt had intended with his miniatures.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I love that messaging. That's going to have to be turned into a blog post of some sort, Chris.
Yeah, I'll get to work right away on it.
But no,
Go
I think this could be, I mean, for you guys that are doing a beautiful job here, I think that when we get more information and we can spread the word, that can be another thing. So keep digging, Chris.
Will do. Well, that seems like an appropriate place to end our journey today. Thank you, Marina, for joining us again. You've been so generous with your time, not only to us but to create all these wonderful exhibitions. So thank you for joining us and for just being the best.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for the fantastic job that you both are doing. Thank you. A pleasure being here.
Thanks for tuning in to WD-FM, the official Walt Disney Family Museum podcast. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Email us questions and comments at podcast@wdfmuseum.org.
Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at WDF Museum for all the latest updates.
Have a marvelous May and keep moving forward.